Hey everybody, welcome back. Another episode, Can We Please Talk podcast. As always, I'm Mike Leon.
And I'm still Nick Saveri.
He's still Nick Saveri. I'm still Mike Leon. Nicky, my boy, how you doing, man? How's everything?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Hanging in there, man. We got vaccine news coming through. Things are good. I'm just, hanging in there.
That's good. That's good. You look like you may need a little bit of like a pep talk today. You know, I feel like just hearing your voice right now, I'm seeing your tone. I think you need a little pep talk. Would you agree with that?
Pick me up, man. What you got?
All right. Let me see if I can find somebody to come on the show, give you a little bit of a pep talk. How about that? Let's play a clip from the guest that we have coming on tonight. Let's see if I can get you fired up, Nick.
Are you? Say you see a fool. Say you see a fool. They talk some trash. We play with class. You see that score? They don't want no more. We won that fight. We party tonight.
Nicky, how about that, huh? I mean, you can't get motivated after that.
I'm up, man. My back's straight. I'm in.
That's what I'm talking about. We're partying tonight.
This guy's here.
That voice that you just heard, he's a former Rutgers football player. He's one of our favorite people. Obviously, Nick and I are both Rutgers grads. He had an injury a long time ago. And since then, he's been on the road to recovery, but motivating people as a motivational speaker and philanthropist. And now he's the owner of LeGrand Coffee House. So we're going to ask him all about the coffee business tonight. And that is none other than Eric LeGrand, who will be joining us. Eric, like I mentioned, played Rutgers football. He was DN linebacker from 2008 to 2010 season. But in the 2010 season, he had a season-ending and career-ending injury, unfortunately, against Army back in November of 2010. And it was a spinal cord injury. And since that injury, Eric, and we're going to ask him about this tonight, but really his career has taken off because he's jumped into a different path in terms of motivating and working with the Reeves Foundation for Spinal Cord Research and starting Team LeGrand. He's done so much in the motivational speaking realm. He's won an ESPY, the Arthur Ashe Courage Award years ago. And now he's ventured into another business, which is now coffee. Nick has bought the coffee. I as well. It is delicious. We're not even plugging the coffee yet, Nick, and it's good.
Operative words yet?
Yeah, seriously, operative word yet. Yeah, and so he's now the owner of LeGrand Coffee House. So you could check all their products, the tumblers, the coffee at LeGrandCoffeehouse.com. So we just can't wait to talk to Eric today and really find out not only more about his story, but just some of the inspirational things. I mean, Nick, you know this from just following Eric. He's so motivational and just always has a smile on his face, going through like the biggest adversity that anybody could face, the ability to not potentially walk again.
You know, oftentimes when we think of Eric, we tend to think, unfortunately, of the tragedy, as though it's like sort of the ending point for this individual. You know, what Mike and I are going to do tonight, you know, over the course of these minutes is really wake all of you up. I got a chance to get that wake up a moment ago from what Mike just, put on the show, but this opportunity is for everybody. You know, obviously Mike and I are Rutgers grads. We're proud of Rutgers grads. Scarlet Knights always. Eric's the best of us, man. I mean, honestly, I'm going to keep my intro down a little because I'm so hyped. This means a lot to talk to a man who truly is the best of us at Rutgers. But I was saying before about the tragedy, all too often we look at Eric's story and we sort of tend to focus on that. And our goal tonight is to talk about what came after, who is in our presence tonight, and this incredible story. And we're going to talk about everything from coffee to surviving adversity, thriving from adversity. And that's really Eric's story. And that's about to be what you're all going to get hit with this evening.
No, you're right. I mean, he, like I said, he's been making the rounds on television. He's been on Good Morning America, live with Kelly and Ryan. And obviously he's promoting this new venture in his life, the coffee business. And he's really promoting it as like, look what I can do in the face of adversity and start a business, and you can do the same too. And I just think that message is so powerful for the listeners out there, watchers, however you consume our content. You're sitting out there going, man, I want to start something. I don't know how to do it. Eric is a perfect example of, why are you waiting? And I think Eric's going to bring a lot of that message tonight. And like you said, I mean, he's a former collegiate athlete. Obviously now he does a little bit on the Rutgers radio network. And so he's ventured into a bunch of different career paths, not only, post-playing career. And he said something that I'm going to ask him about later in the interview is about, he said this injury, he's able to take this injury further than he ever would have playing football. And I think that kind of outlook is amazing, that perspective of, you just got hit with a sentence like this of, I may not walk again. And he took it in such a positive way to say, no, I'm going to make the most out of this and motivate others that are going through this. I think it's just such a fantastic message. And we just can't wait to talk to Eric today.
Don't focus on the things that you can't do. And if it's something that you really want, you have to work your butt off to get it. Because no matter what you're going through in your life, no matter what, there is always someone that has it worse than you. And if you can look at it through that lens, then you'll realize, wow, I have a pretty blessed life. I get to do some great things because there are a lot of people that are praying to be able to do the things that you can do.
All right, Nick, we teased it at the top, man. I'm so excited to talk to this guy tonight because not only is he a Rutgers grad like Nick and myself, former football player, but he is not only a motivational speaker, philanthropist, but he has got some amazing coffee that I need to find out what's in there because I got a cup right here for the people watching us on YouTube. And I'm telling you, this is delicious. We're not even pitching the coffee. LeGrand's Coffee House. Check them out at LeGrand'sCoffeehouse.com. And that is none other than Eric LeGrand. Eric, Mike Leon, Nick Saveri, thank you so much for hopping out with us tonight, man.
Man, always good to jump out with some Rutgers family.
Absolutely, man. Well said right there. Eric, right off at the top, we were talking about it before you came on about your injury, but I don't really want to get into the injury, but how's the recovery going, especially with COVID? How have you been recovering? If you could give our audience like where you are in the recovery process.
I'm grinding away every day. COVID has stopped me from going to therapy. It'll be coming up on a year in a few weeks, actually, since the last time I was actually at Kessler Institute in West Orange, New Jersey, because you just never know, especially people coming in and out from all over the place. Mm-hmm. And with me being in my condition, I have to, always be careful, because of secondary complications. So thank God, I do have equipment at my house where I can still get my therapy, and my mom, my nurse, and my aide are my new therapist for the past year. They've been helping me out. They've been keeping my body strong, and I'm trying to get after it a few times a week, and just like I said, keep my body strong. I'm thankful that I have the equipment at my house to still work.
Yeah, but on the subject of your recovery, part of your work has been around in working in the fundraising and awareness sector of what's going on with spinal cord injury. Tell us about, coming out of, what you experienced and that trauma that's very real that was there. How are you able to just turn your attention to focusing on the trauma of others and raising awareness to spinal cord injuries and just really educating the rest of the world on what's at stake and what are the opportunities to help others around that?
Yeah, Nick, when I got injured, I got opened up to a whole new world. When I was at Rutgers, it was practice, weight room sessions, class, study hall, repeat over and over. I was in my own little bubble in New Brunswick, you know what I mean? That's all I knew. After my injury, I got exposed to a whole different world. And that was a world with spinal cord injuries, where people were coming from all different walks of life, different shapes and sizes, ethnic backgrounds. And you start to see these stories. And, I had a lot of support. You guys know, after my injury, just the outpouring of support was it was amazing. A lot of people don't have that. And I got to see some of that in action. And that's what inspired me saying, you know what? I need to be able to help the 5.6 million people that are dealing with some sort of paralysis in this world. And we got to live Christopher Reeve's dream, and that's a world of empty wheelchairs.
That's well said, Eric. I want to stay on that because a long time ago, post-injury, I forget what interview it was, but you had mentioned something that I thought was so profound and powerful about that you felt this injury has taken you further than football ever could, right? And then I think about, we got Ray Lucas coming on the show in a few weeks, and I know he wrote a book about, another Rutgers guy. And
that's my man. Right
that's the man. Yeah, we love Ray. And he wrote that book about how football almost cost him his life, and he would do it all over again. Do you ever look back and go, I don't know if I would have played knowing what I know happened now? Do you ever have those moments? And also, if you hadn't played, what would you be doing? What would Eric LeGrand be doing right now?
It's a great question. To start off with, do I always think about it? Yes, I think about it every day. Where my life would be, where I would be living. What would I be doing right now if there wasn't for playing football? Would I ever not played football? Oh, that's not absolutely. I would have played football. Football has brought me so many opportunities and has taught me so much mentally and obviously physically, but mentally, in order to go through something like this. This is very hard to do, but people like you make it look so easy. And I'm like, it's a lifestyle. Just being able to train your brain to overcome adversity and push through the struggles. And when something happens, not curl into a ball in the corner and cry, but try to figure out a solution, take a step back and, lay out this plan and then go execute. So I still would play the game of football. I don't know what I'll be doing. I was hoping, hey, I could say I've been going into my 9th or 10th year in the NFL right now. Yeah, that would be great, but you just don't know. But I like to live in the moment, and I can honestly say since my injury, there have been nothing but blessings that have come my way.
What have been, you mentioned about the mental toughness from the game and how it translates to supporting your focus now. What are some of those lessons that football brings to put you in the headspace to thrive and continue to grow in the work that you do?
Yeah, so you put yourself out there, especially, in my world. First off, the thing was learning to feel comfortable being uncomfortable. Man, our coach Shiano used to preach that to us all the time. You got to learn to be comfortable being uncomfortable. It's not supposed to be easy. And now you think about it, you go from being this big football player to rolling around African-American guy, right at the time I had dreadlocks, in a wheelchair. People would stare at me. They would look at me differently. People didn't know how to approach me. If my story wasn't so, blown up in the media, a lot of people would have no idea who I was. But, people recognize me and then talk to me. But the people that don't recognize you, sometimes they give you uncomfortable looks. And it's just like, hey, it is what it is. I either have a conversation with them or I don't. It doesn't bother me. And also mentally, being able to push through the grind of the rigorous therapy that you're going through. You go from benching 415 pounds and squatting 605 pounds to then putting a balloon on your chest. And you're trying to inhale and exhale and hold the balloon up on your chest. It's crazy, but it put me in a mindset. All right, grind, wait one day at a time, one step at a time. One day, 1 week, 1 month. And until you start adding those days up and things start to happen for you. So just having that athlete mindset of knowing that when you play football, you only get a certain amount of opportunities to actually play the game. But the grind that leads up to the game sets you up for life.
Eric, you touched on Coach Shiano there. So I want to ask you a Rutgers question because I'm a season ticket holder. I'm a big fan. I'll be honest. I didn't want Coach back. Not mainly because of him, mainly because of other candidates that were being talked about at least. And I know you obviously have such a close relationship and his players all vouch for him and love him. I want to ask you, similar in a two-part, it's more of what does Coach have to do? We all know recruiting's at the lifeblood. You were a big-time recruit out of Colonia. What does Coach have to do to keep these Jersey kids home? And then the second part of it is, when do you think Rutgers will actually be able to compete in the heavy Big Ten East?
So firstly, obviously, you got to win. Everyone looks at winning. Everyone wants to win. But the biggest thing that Coach Shiano and his staff does, he surrounds himself around people that actually genuinely care about the recruit and not give you the car pitch sales guy type of role, as I have seen with coaches in the past, and maybe even a candidate that you may have wanted that I remember was recruiting me at one time, giving me the car sales biz pitch. But Coach Shiano genuinely develops a relationship with them. I know how they work in the recruiting as teams, just so they can develop relationships with these recruits. That's what it's not just, one coach, develop a relationship. It's multiple coaches. Learn about that recruit. What does he want in life? What makes him tick? How does he go? How is his family? What type of upbringing is he coming through? Is he a Rutgers guy that's going to represent our brand? And we can take him from that 18-year-old boy and turn him into a 21, 22-year-old man after he leaves here. Because no matter what, once you come to Rutgers, you represent that block R while you're there. And long after, as you know, as soon as something bad happens, it's always former Rutgers football player or former Rutgers athlete. It always stands out. So you always got to be able to know who you're recruiting, developing those guys. And we know Coach Shiano can develop NFL talent and let him start rolling. I know he can do it 2 and 3 stars. and let him get some of his hands on the 4 and 5-star recruits and watch the animals that he turns out.
I'm gonna, in a funny way, to transition to, we've been talking about the grind, the mental grind. We talk about the grind for the work that you do. I want to talk about the coffee grind for a minute.
This guy, coffee grind. I like
there
that.
It is. There,
all right.
but you're laughing and smiling though, so I got you.
Yeah.
So, Eric, wild thing about LeGrand Coffee House, you're only recent to the coffee drinking game. From what I've read, you started drinking the good stuff about a year ago, something like that. From what I'm reading,
August 2020 was my first cup.
See, there it is.
Wow.
So August 2020, coffee meets Eric. Summer 2021, LeGrand Coffee House. Tell us about that journey, man.
It's been a journey. I'll tell you what. From the idea of creating my own cafe, because I've always been a big cafe guy. I wasn't a coffee guy, but you can put me in a cafe and I can enjoy myself. To have the opportunity to be able to have my own in my hometown, about bringing the community together. So unity to the community, coming together, a daily cup of belief. I'm like, you know what? That fits my brand. Now I got to try this stuff. And, I was working, with different business advisors and roasters and just learning about it, educating myself about the coffee. And I've said in the past 6-7 months, I've learned a whole lot, and mostly in the past 5 weeks, 6 weeks, because I took classes, did a bunch of cupping and tastings, all that stuff, and learned all about coffee. It was great. But when you actually start the business, now you're in it, and that's when you really learn on how the grind really is, and making sure people are getting the orders, the quality of the coffee, where you're getting it from, who you're working with, big time with that. So I've learned a whole lot. We've had our ups and downs, but I'll tell you what, there's been a lot of ups so far the past 6 weeks, and I can't wait to see where this is going to go. And I love bringing people together. That's what it's all about.
Talking about the roasters and the process behind all that. I know one big thing about, for anyone who orders from the website, which is you got single roasts right now, or single origin, which I think is a big thing for your coffee house. So Mike and I are coffee nerds. Let's talk about this for a minute. Obviously, single roast versus the blend. Now you've gone through the tasting process. You're hip on all this.
Mm-hmm.
Take the uninitiated through it. What is the value of going to a single origin coffee, avoiding the blends? What's the difference on the flavor side, and what does that mean to you just in terms of selecting the right roasters to partner with for LeGrand Coffee House?
It's huge. I mean, we've had our ups and downs. I'm not gonna lie. We had our ups and downs with roasters, and can we fulfill this, or can we do that? Are we gonna be able to grow to what we want to go to, or stay here? But when it comes to single origin and from blends, what I've learned, single origin, you're getting the purest taste of the bean. You're not getting any chemicals, any mixture of beans to hit a certain taste, taking things out, putting things in there to hit that perfect taste. So with the single origin, you get the exact taste of that bean coming from that farm in its purest form. When you get blends now, you want to get a certain taste that you want to hit. So you might have to add a little bit of the stuff here, a little bit of stuff there. And, you might get a great taste, but you're not getting that purest form of the bean. Still could be good, but when you mess with single origin, at least I'm getting that this is the purest taste of the bean I can actually get.
So I know you guys were on to something when the measurements on your bag is like 10 grams to 6 ounces of water.
Yo, the guy knows his coffee, man.
See, man.
Stop checking him. He knows his coffee, man. No, but Rutgers guy, what are you hitting him up
know.
for? He knows his coffee.
Rutgers comes correct. No, what I'm saying to listeners though is if you get hit with measure by tablespoons, it ain't it. You need the weight measure, and that was the thing that just caught me with the coffee was like, this is on point. And so
Eric, not even to continue to promote it, but like everybody that has texted me that has bought a bag before I ordered, everyone was like, I'm telling you, and they're Rutgers people. They're like, yo, take the Rutgers out of it. The coffee's good. Like, so for people out there, LeGrandCoffeehouse.com, you can check it out. Eric, I want to ask you though, I'm going to transition off the roast for a second, because you've been doing this whirlwind of press, right? I saw you on Fox 5 with Tim Sylvester. You're live with Kelly and Ryan, excuse me. You're on Good Morning America. And then over the last 10 years, you've had so much happen to you as a whirlwind, from the ESPYs to the WWE to getting inducted, with Tampa Bay in their Hall of Fame. Like, what has been the moment for you where you have stopped and said, I can't believe this is happening to me. Like, this is awesome.
Mm-hmm. The biggest moment was when I was able to graduate from Rutgers in 2014 and put the diploma on the wall for my mom like my sister did, but giving a commencement speech to my fellow classmates and their entire families at the stadium over there in Piscataway, and being able to share my story with them, because literally I was in the same seats that they were, going through the same, the struggles, the grind as now after I had to still go back to school after my injury and earn my degree. It wasn't always easy and it wasn't always fun, but we got there and we finished, and being able to address my fellow students with just being able to say, I've been in the real world now. I know what it's like, but guess what? You're going to get knocked down, but you can get back up. You don't have to stay down. You're going to deal with some adversity, but how you handle it will ultimately define you. And being able to share that with everyone and hear the roar, that's just something I can never take back. That was something that was truly special to me. And I think that's my favorite moment of all my accomplishments.
That's well said, man. Eric, man, it's been such a thrill for us having you on. I know where I was to the day when your injury happened back in November 2010 against Army, and getting text messages from friends, and we were all really concerned about you. But Nick said it before you came on. You really are the beacon for RU, and your positivity, your energy has always been electric, man. I wish you nothing but continued success. Go check out LeGrandCoffeehouse.com. Go get that coffee. No BS, folks. The coffee is delicious. The one and only Eric LeGrand. Thank you so much for coming on with us tonight, man. We really appreciate it.
I appreciate y'all for having me, man. It means a lot.
That was great. Nick and I are both shaking our heads.
We're shaking our heads, man.
We've had a couple moments on this show where we have been like, that was great. I want to talk to them again. We could do it for longer, but that was Eric LeGrand, like I mentioned, former Rutgers football player, currently a motivational speaker. I want you to go to teamlegrand.org, and you can check out the foundation there. Everything they do with the Reeves Foundation to help spinal cord injuries. Check out LeGrandCoffeehouse.com. I'm not kidding, folks. We're not even promoting them. The coffee is delicious, and all the amazing mugs and tumblers that they have. They've been doing a bunch of social media campaigns. From Dwayne Wade's posted about the coffee. Brian Cranston's posted about the Hannah Storm from ESPN. So the coffee is good. And Eric is just, we were talking about this off air with him. He is just such a good person, man. He's always had that smile on his face. We played the clip at the top, with the football chant after the win in 2009 in the bowl game against Central Florida. And he's just always been that personality. People gravitate towards him. He has the smile. I mean, Nick, what'd you make of Eric overall, man?
I told you the other day when we talked about him coming on, this might be the most important episode we've done, because, for you and I, we're both connected through our friendship, but as Rutgers grads, and what Eric means to the Rutgers community is a lot. And I say it again, it sounds so simplistic, but it is the only way I can sum him up and what he means to the university. He's the best of us. Yeah. He is one of the finest people we've produced at that school. To be a Rutgers person is to strive to be just as powerful, as positive as Eric is. Like he sets the bar for all of us. Yeah. The opportunity to talk to him, means a lot, but it also gives us an opportunity to really spotlight the work that he does. It's never been about the injury and sort of everything trails off. His story really begins with what happens after, and it's this upward trajectory of contribution, of making a difference in the world. And that's the life you want to lead, to make an impact and focus on everyone else beyond yourself.
I mean, I don't even know what to say post that, because you said it very well. I mean, the guy has to have that mental, we had Ishver Dusko talking about mental framing, picturing yourself doing something. And for Eric to go through that injury, and as soon as the injury was done, weeks, months later, when he finally realizes the rehabilitation process, and the doctor says to him, you may not walk again. And he's like, I'm going to prove you wrong. And everything from that moment on has been, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. This is not going to restrict me from doing anything. And I just think that positivity, that attitude for people out there watching, listening, however you watch us, and you're thinking about, I can't do this because of this. Know that there's somebody else out there doing it, and they can do it. It's funny because he jumps into the coffee business, and he just learned about coffee 6 months ago. And now he's got the means to be able to jump into the coffee business, but he took the time to educate himself on coffee. I mean, you asking him these crazy ass questions about coffee, you lost me for a second. I was like, what is it? You roasting beans?
I wasn't even trying to test him.
I know you weren't, but
no, we're there, man. Like
it worked out because he knew what he was talking about. He comes correct, man. He is a fantastic listen to. Speaking of listen to, for our show, if you're watching us on YouTube, you know what you got to do. You got to hit the subscribe button. Nick's already
smash this button, folks.
Smashing the button.
You see it?
For all the audio platforms, Apple, Spotify, Google. There's so many of them. I even forget some of the ones that were on Downcast, Stitcher. Hit a subscribe, hit follow. Give us a review, a comment in the comments section. As always, I'm Mike Leon.
I'm Nick Saveri.
Thank you so much, everybody. We'll catch you next time.